Hello everyone. I will be continuing the series that I am making. So, in this video, I will be talking more about what to do when you find small mistakes. In the previous video, we've talked about taking responsibility when it has reached to the point of telling it to your upper authorities and such. But in this video, we will talk about noticing the little changes and what to do when you do notice them. So, when there are when there's a disorder in a software, we call it a software rot, or software entropy if you want to be bougie. But entropy is a term from physics that refers to the amount of disorder in a system. So, when disorder increases in software, we call it software rot. Then you might be wondering what causes software rot. Well, there are many factors that can contribute to it. However, the most important one would be the psychology at work and psychology among your teammates, the team that's working on a project. And despite the best laid plans and the best people, a project can still experience ruin and decay during its lifetime. What makes the difference though? Well, we can see what makes the difference in the example that I'm going to give now. Well, in inner cities, some buildings are beautiful and clean, while others are rotten hulks. Why though? What turns a clean, intact, inhabited building into a smashed and an abandoned one? Well, the answer is a broken window. One broken window left unrepaired for a substantial period of time instills in the inhabitants that no one cares. It instills a feeling, a sense of abandonment, a sense that no one around cares about the building anymore. So another window gets broken and people start littering and serious structural damage begins. In a relatively short span of time, the building becomes damaged beyond the owner's desire to fix it, and the sense of abandonment becomes a reality. So the same thing applies to your code as well. And your tip would be, don't live with broken windows. And in case of software, what broken windows mean is your bad designs or poor code or wrong decisions or anything of such sorts. So don't live with broken windows. Don't leave them unrepaired when you find them. Do not think, oh, this is a small one, I can come back to it when I'm done with this part of the code. No, fix it as soon as you can. Do not and why would we want that though? Why can't you leave it for after you finish the other part of the code? Well, that's because it has to do with psychology. It creates a hopelessness. It creates ignoring a clearly broken situation reinforces the idea that perhaps nothing can be fixed and that no one cares, all is doomed, and all these negative thoughts will spread among team members like a wildfire, and that is not what you want. So fix it as soon as you can. That, however, does not mean that if you have a broken window, right, in the hurry that you want to fix it, you walk around in the house with your shoes on. That doesn't make sense because you're ruining the house in the process too, and that's just creating another broken window. So don't ruin your other part of the code while being in a hurry to fix your broken window. That is not a very smart idea. That is not something a pragmatic programmer does. So do not cause collateral damage just because there's a crisis of some sort. And one broken window is one too many. So make sure you don't create more trying to fix that one broken window. And a tip for you would be that help strengthen your team by surveying your project neighborhood, right? Choose 2 or 3 broken windows and discuss with your colleagues what the problems are and what could be done to fix them. Now, so that's what you would do to when you notice something. That is what you have to do, right? You have to fix them as soon as possible and not ruin the rest of your code. Then now you're in a situation where you know exactly what needs to be done, right? You know exactly what to do and how to do it. The entire system just appears before your eyes. You know it's right? But you ask permissions to tackle the whole thing, and you will be met with delays and blank stares. What do you do then, right? Well, let's see what these 3 soldiers do, okay? The 3 soldiers returning home from war were hungry. When they saw the village ahead, their spirits lifted. They were sure the villagers would give them a meal. But when they got there, they found that the doors were locked and the windows closed. After many years of war, the villagers were short of food and hoarded what they had, right? So, but the soldiers, they were undeterred, and they were boiling a pot of water and carefully placed 3 stones into it. The amazed villagers came out to watch. The soldiers explained, "This is a stone soup." And the villagers asked, "Is that all you put in it?" "Absolutely, although some say it might taste even better with a few carrots." So a villager runs off, returning in no time with a basket of carrots from his hoard. A couple of minutes later, the villagers ask again, "Is that it?" Well, the soldiers say, "A couple more potatoes give it body." And off runs another villager. Over the next hour, the soldiers listed more ingredients that would enhance the soup, leeks, salt, herbs, other things. And each time, a different villager would run off to raid their personal stores. Eventually, they had produced a large pot of steaming soup. The soldiers removed the stones, and they sat down with the entire village to enjoy the first square meal any of them had eaten in months. Now, in this story, the villagers are tricked by the soldiers, who use the villagers' curiosity to get food from them, right? But more importantly, the soldiers act as a catalyst, bringing the villagers together so they can jointly produce something that they couldn't have done by themselves. And eventually, in this story, right, everyone wins. The same thing could be applied to your situations as well. When you are met with delays and blank stares, when you ask for permissions, and when everyone were guarding their own resources. This is besides the point, but this is also called startup fatigue. But when you do face this, it's time to bring out the stones. Work out what you can reasonably ask for, first of all, and then develop it well. Once you've got it, show people and let them marvel, okay? And then say, of course, it would be better if we added da 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 da. Pretend it's not important, and sit back and wait for them to start asking you to add what you originally wanted. The reason why this works, right, is because people find it easier to join an ongoing success. Show them a glimpse of the future, and you'll get them to rally around it. And so, be a catalyst for change. If you want to see something happen, but it's not happening quick enough for you, or people don't trust you enough to give you their resources, do something about it, be a catalyst for a change, right? Now, this is from the soldier side of the story, but what if you're the villager in the story, right? In the story, the villagers did profit from this. However, what if the soldiers were trying to scam you? And the villagers didn't notice the deception at first. They just went with the flow, and they had a tunnel vision. They were focusing solely on the stones and not what's happening around them. They had a tunnel vision, and that's just when people do that, things just creep up on us. We fall for it, right? Every day we are the soldiers. We fall for little changes here and there. We fall for it every day. So you have to remember that you have to take the big picture, right? For example, another story, in this case, the frog, right? When you put a frog directly into a pot of boiling water, it will jump straight back out again. However, if you place the frog in a pan of cold water and then gradually heat it, the frog won't notice the slow increase in temperature and will stay put until it's cooked. You need to be careful that you do not become the frog. Notice what's happening around you. Keep in mind the big picture. And this is not the same thing as the broken window theory, right? There, it's about when you notice something is wrong, when you notice the broken window, you need to fix it as soon as possible. Here, you're not even noticing the change. You don't even know that it's happening, that you are not aware. And that is how some of the projects slowly get totally out of hand, right? Like most software disasters start out too small to notice, and most project overruns happen a day at a time. And to avoid that, again, remember the big picture. Do not be like the fabled frog. Keep an eye out on the big picture. Constantly review what's happening around you and not just what you are personally doing. So yeah, that would be today's video. Thank you for watching.